Hello, welcome to my channel, 100 Days with Kajo. It is day 24 of building our personal constitution. In today's video, we'll be talking about interactions with substances because we are in our health and wellness amendment. I keep wanting to say section. We just talked about our relationship and interaction with food, with our bodies, and other things. And then before this amendment, we talked about routines. And before that, we talked about our grounding articles. Before that, we talked about our preamble. And before that, we talked about why we should build a personal constitution. So if you are new and you have no idea what I'm talking about, go start from the beginning and come back. A little FYI, I am creating a personalized affirmation app, and if you haven't done so already, go to my description box, join our emailing listing if you're interested for when it comes out, and to answer my survey so I understand what your needs are. Thank you, I love you, and let's continue with the rest of the video. It is super important for us to include this section of interactions with substances because addiction is not fun. We need to understand our personalities and set parameters to keep ourselves safe, right? No one truly just wakes up one day and says, I'm going to be addicted to XYZ. No, nobody wakes up and wants to do that. You literally fall into it. It's a slippery slope of doing small things here and there that add up. And then all of a sudden, you're addicted to ibuprofen. That's not funny. If you watch Love is Blind, you know what I'm talking about. The time you see this video, it's kind of old, but the ones who get it, you love it. Thank you. At first, I was a little weary about putting this in the personal constitution, but I was like, you know what? It's super important. And I know that that's something that I would want to put in because I do have certain safeguards that I've known since high school that I set for myself that I believe would be helpful for you guys. So I'm just going to tell you guys a little personal story. So throughout middle school, high school, of course, I'm not drinking. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not drinking, right? But I'd see people around me drinking, underage drinking, and it was whatever. I didn't really condemn anyone for it. I was like, okay, as long as you're not putting my life in danger or doing it around me, it's really none of my business. And if you ask me oh, should I do this? I'm obviously going to tell you no. But I would see drinking around me all the time, and I'm South Sudanese, and in the South Sudanese community, growing up, I would see uncles or the older men drink so much, and of course when you're a child you're not really thinking about it, but then you see how quickly they lose their jobs, how quickly they get addicted, how quickly they disregard their families and their responsibilities of a father and a husband and whatnot. And I did not like that. I was like, this is not for me. It could never, right? And I started to build this dislike for overconsumption or over reliance on substances. And I didn't really look down on those people because again, a lot of the uncles or the older men and the older generation, they escaped war. And I understood that maybe they're in that space of celebrating that they're no longer in it, and they're maybe dealing with things that they never properly dealt with back home. So I didn't really want to shame them for it, but I thought okay, well, we're an adult here, and I would hope that with them having a wife, with them having kids, with them being now safe here, that they would take a look at their traumas and try to work through it. But I was like, you know what? It's whatever. I was a kid, right? I'm not supposed to be thinking about this stuff. But anywho, I just knew from an early age, I was like, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking until, okay, not that I'm never drinking, but I'm not drinking until I'm 21, right? And I stuck by it. I think I accidentally had I think when I was younger, I accidentally had vodka. I literally thought it was water. Spit that out. I was like, there's something wrong with this water. Another time I tasted wine, but it was never I'm drinking. Never. I literally waited until I was 21. And it was funny because all throughout college, it was like, you want to drink? You want to drink? I'm like, oh, I don't drink. They're like, oh, why not? I'm like, I don't want to say oh, I'm not of age. Oh, it's not that that's pick me energy, but I was like, I'm not shaming any of you guys for it because I know how some people are. But for me, I'm just not drinking until I'm 21, right? So I did that. And I'd always joke around and say, I'm not drinking until I'm 21 because I have the rest of my life to potentially become an alcoholic. And not that I will be. I also knew my personality, which was what I mentioned in our importance of addressing this, that once I put my mind to something, I stick with it. So if I put my mind onto drinking or substances and say this is good, this is helpful, this is getting me through X, Y, and Z, or I need this to feel good, or I need this to remedy any anxiety or any sadness or anything negative happening in my life, I promise you guys, I will stick to it. And it's not even a obsessive or addictive type of personality. It's I'm stubborn. I have a stubborn personality. So when I when my mind is set, it is set. So I was like, oh, let's not set it on that. Okay, let's make sure that we have certain safeguards up so I will never ever be in that scenario. So for this video, I'm going to talk about just drinking because that's something that I engage with. I don't really engage with like any other substance really. And I felt like, I think that might be like the friendliest or most used one out of all of them. So use what applies. Okay. But let's get started. First thing you want to ask yourself is, what type of substance do you engage with? I, of course, engage with alcohol. Not really anything else. Sometimes like edibles here and there, but like, oh my goodness, like every blue moon. Like it's been years since I had my last one. And I literally drank like last weekend because I was in Chicago. Whenever you guys see this, I was in Chicago. So once you think about that, once you list them all, you're like, okay, cool. Here are all the substances that I engage with or dabble with here and there, once in a while, often, sometimes, whatever. Then ask yourself, does the idea of not engaging with this said substance for like 3 months bothersome? I can say for me, I'm good. I am good, okay? If someone were to tell me like, oh, you can't drink alcohol for 3 months, okay? You can't drink alcohol for 6 months, okay? You can't drink alcohol for a year, okay? It's not that big of a deal for me. Like, I literally went years without drinking it. I'd go months without drinking it. I would go 11 months and X amount of days. Like, I'm not counting down the days. It's just, it's not something that I revolve around. Like, I just buffered. I literally don't need a drink. Like, I don't need it when I go out with my friends. I don't need it when I eat. I don't need it when I have fun. I don't need it. There are certain times when I really enjoy it and I want it, but I don't need it. So being able to know like, okay, I can go months. I could go years without drinking it and be okay and not feel like I'm missing out or not feel like I'm having withdrawal, then you are in a very, very, very good space. Now, if you are on the other side of the spectrum and someone tells you 3 months, you can't have it, and it literally, you're clutching your pearls, babe, I'm sorry to break it to you, but have a problem, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm not shaming you. It's just literally me, you, and whoever's at the door listening. Okay? We can fix this. You can fix this. We can work through it. And to expand on that, do you find yourself engaging with said substance even if it is detrimental to you? The next question I want you guys to ask yourself is, do you see certain patterns and similar engagements with said substances in your environment, right? So I mentioned earlier that growing up, I would see like, of course, like the older uncles and aunties and whatever, they would engage with drinking, mostly the men, unfortunately. And later on, my peers as well. It's a little sad, but I would see it in the way people would turn to it when things are going rough, the way that people would become so dependent on it, the way certain families became so like desensitized to the idea of like the husband or their father, dad, whatever, being like just flat out a drunk and just seeing it everywhere. That shapes how you view substances. Sometimes you will go through something hard and your brain is like, oh, you remember when your mom or your dad did this when something happened? Like, this is how they fixed it, with a cold glass. And you are more prone to reach for that cup, to reach for that cup, that bottle, or that joint, or like needle. I don't know. You don't see it as being as bad as it actually is because you've been desensitized to it in your environment. So you need to look at your environment and point out people and situations where it was just so normalized and that they just turned to it as a solution. You want to think about it. You can write it down, like if you want to work through it, and ask yourself like, okay, do I need to remove myself from this environment? Do I know that there are certain triggers that may prompt me to act the same way that they did? You want to make sure that you are never in a space to do that. You're never in a space to engage with that. You're never in a space to fall into that, because again, it's not something that happens out of the blue. It literally snowballs and builds over time. After analyzing your interactions with your substances that you use, write down why it's important for you to rewrite or emphasize a healthy relationship with said substance. Sometimes a healthy relationship with a substance is no relationship at all. And if that's what you need, then I advise that you do it, because I'd much rather you live happy and live full and live bright than not live that way. Like, it's really sad that sometimes we will choose suffering over our potential happiness, because getting to that happiness is a lot of work. We want to make sure that if we're going to endure something, we should endure something that's going to make us better versus something that's going to hurt us. For me, I think it's super important that I do not become alcoholic or get addicted to any substances, because I've seen the way it has affected families. I've seen the way it has affected people. And I never, ever, 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 ever want to be in a situation where I'm doing those things, or that I'm seeking out alcohol because of pain, of anxiety, fear, doubt, worry. I literally I don't even think about drinking alcohol when these things are happening. And this is, again, related to our section about our relationship with food, the relationship with our body. Sometimes we seek out, sometimes we seek out these substances as a punishment to ourselves. I always say, do you suffer starve as your punishment, and overindulgence is like the stuffing or the starving, I guess, depending on what it does to you. Anywho, ask yourself, are you punishing yourself? Is it not, at this point, is it recreational? No, it's not. It's not recreational. Recreational is that if someone were to tell you can never, ever, ever do it again, you'd be like, okay, that's fine. Like, it is what it is. Addicted, you spaz out if someone tells you you can never do it again. It makes you go insane if someone tells you you can't do it again. So really take the time to ask yourself, why is it important for you not to become addicted to XYZ? Why is it important to you to have a healthy interactions and engagements with said substances, especially if they're like legal, and stuff like that, and they're readily available to you? Why is it important to you to value and love yourself? If you know for a fact that you have a addictive personality, if you know for a fact that you've had a history of alcoholism or addiction, if you know for a fact that in the past you've had bad interactions or bad connotations or bad reactions to it, and you know for a fact that it's not good for you, write down why you promise yourself to be careful and to love yourself. If you want to instill confidence and reassurance in yourself while creating your personal constitution, follow my channel of Firmly Active Affirmations, where you'll find affirmations, EFT tapping, guided yoga, and so much more. For soundscapes such as brown noise, rain sounds, and even TV static to sleep, study, and meditate to, follow my channel of Firmly Sounds. The last thing we're going to talk about are parameters. These are the parameters that I have regarding drinking. And you can write parameters about like literally anything, but you can just use mine as a starting point and reference to your own parameters. So parameter number 1, water is the best chaser. I joke around all the time and say water is my favorite chaser, because it literally is. When I drink water, 1, I'm prioritizing my safety. And 2, I'm taking care of my body, because I know when you drink alcohol, drinking ample amount of water, eating ample amount of food is important for the way your body will like absorb your drink. And I'm like, okay, why would I chase it with juice if I know that's going to give me a hangover? Why would I chase it with an energy drink if I know it's literally going to like make me explode? I use water as my chaser, and it has served me well. It has served me well. And of course, I'll have like a little something here and there. Like if I wanted to have juice with it, I can, but my main chaser is water. My second parameter is I have a hard stop of drinking. So my first hard stop, because it depends on the night and like what I'm doing, is a number of drinks, shots, or whatever that I have. I test out how I feel before I take more. Like I know for a fact, like if I'm drinking tequila, like 3 to 4 shots, right, I stop, right? And I make sure I drink enough, eat enough. That's the first parameter. But like 4 max. But like 3 is generally like what I go for. And I test how I feel, and I don't drink anything until I actually start to feel the alcohol, because like people will like keep going. Like, I'm not feeling anything. Yeah, it's gonna hit you later. You don't want that. That's how you get hangovers. That's how you black out. And for me, I've never blacked out. never blacked out because I set out those parameters early on and because I knew I don't ever want to be in that position. Now, I've had things like not sit well in my stomach. I'm like, oh, okay. That's okay. I find out that I can't have this. But overall, never blacked out. I remember my nights. I remember my time. Okay. The second to the hard stop drinking is stopping at a certain time. So let's say I have my 3-4 shots, right? And we're going out, we're leaving at like 9:30, 10. We're going to get there 10:30, 11, right? Around 11:30, 12, I stop drinking. I'm not drinking anymore because I know for a fact, let's say we decide that we're going to stay out until like 3, 4. By the time it's 3, 4, I'm sober. I kid you not, the amount of times that I've ended my night extremely sober is probably more than I've ended my night like drunk. I think, yeah, literally. I prioritize like being sober by the end of the night because I like the way it feels to be like, okay, I'm done having fun, I'm done like going out, and my body's like, yeah, we're done. There's nothing else in our system. We're good. And that's because of the hard stop. That's because of the using water as a chaser. That's because I'm eating enough food before like going out. I'm doing the right things before I'm drinking. I'm not just gonna drink on an empty stomach or like all these other things. I'm not gonna do that. So I could literally sometimes even drive home if I wanted to, but I'm like, it's okay. Like, but that's how sober I am. That's how sober I am. I can drive home. If a police were to pull me over, they wouldn't catch anything in my breath, or it'd be so small. They're like, okay, well, maybe it's kombucha type of stuff, right? Another thing, this is something that I prioritize, and I love to say this. Drink to feel great, not to feel good. What does that mean? So when I drink when I'm happy. I drink when I'm excited. I drink when I'm in the mood for it. I drink when things are going well. I drink when I actually want to and I don't feel pressured to. I drink when I already feel good, only to feel great, right? I'm not drinking when I'm sad. I'm not drinking when I'm stressed out. I'm not drinking when I'm mad. I'm not drinking when I'm frustrated, right? Because then you're drinking to feel good, not to feel great. This is bad. This is good. This is great. You have to start here if you want to get here. You cannot start here. You cannot start feeling bad and then trying to feel good from your drinks. I know that that's how people fall into that slippery slope of becoming alcoholics, becoming addicted, is that they dose themselves with like many addictions of like many, I'm not saying many addictions where it's like something bad happens, drink, something bad happens, drink, little drink here, little, and then something big bad happens. What are you going to do? You're going to take a big bottle and drink it. You are going to overindulge yourself because you have trained your body and mind to reach for that bottle. Stop reaching for it when you're not feeling good. Stop reaching for it. That's something I knew before I even turned 21. I was like, I will never, ever reach for a bottle if I'm not feeling great. Like, it's not even going to be in my home type of thing if I feel like I'm out of whack. And that keeps you safe. That truly keeps you safe. And the last thing, the last parameter of mine is you don't have to drink every time you go out. You do not, listen to me when I say this. You do not have to drink every time you go out. You want to go to a club, you want to go to the bar, you want to go to Vegas, you want to go on a yacht. You don't need to drink. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Don't feel like you're pressured to. Literally, nobody's pressuring you. Nobody. If they are, that's not your friend. I sometimes have an energy drink, but I feel like I want to go out, but my energy's a little low, right? Energy drink. The amount of times I'm at my computer doing work and I drink an energy drink, and then halfway through I'm in my room and I'm dancing and I'm having fun and I'm like distracted from my work. I'm literally having a dance party in my room. Think to yourself, if you literally do that when you have work to do with an energy drink and you're having so much fun, you're like, God, I wish I had somewhere to go. Yeah, next time you go somewhere, get an energy drink. I drink Alani. I don't really do Red Bulls, but I drink Alani, right? She gets me good. And by the end of the night, I'm good. And the whole time, guess what? I'm sober. Okay? No hangovers, no sugar crash, no nothing. Just energy, right? You do not have to drink every time you go out. Sometimes I don't even have energy drinks. Sometimes I'm just out to have fun and I'm having a great time. Midday, morning, at night. I just love to dance. I just love to be with my friends. I just love to, like, not to say I'm a party girl, but I love to party here and there. If you find yourself like the only way you can party, the only way you can have fun is with a drink, then you need to take a step back from it. You don't actually like to party. But if you're like me and you actually like to be out and you don't need a drink in your hand to have an amazing time, you're good. You are so good. And you don't have to make yourself feel bad if like, oh, sometimes you want to drink. It's okay if sometimes you want it. Sometimes I want a little margarita, mimosa sometimes. And it's okay, right? I had a drink, what, last weekend? But before that, I didn't have a drink for like months, 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 months. Oh my God, my camera's dying. I love you guys. I'll see you in our next video. My camera definitely died on me, but all I wanted to say is definitely put in your personal constitution how you'll alternate between drinking and energy drinks and just ways that you will not overindulge in your substances.